Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on 312 Sports.
It's DBU on 312, brought to you in partnership with Chicago Window Guys. Call 847-302-9171. How about them Bulls? How about a little bit of luck? It's okay. You're allowed to be lucky every once in a while, and bumping into the top four. I just kind of saw the wrong logo in that man's hand, and I said, oh. And Tony Kukoc, man, cool. Didn't even celebrate, didn't fist pump, didn't go crazy. All it was at the Bulls table, a little bit of a fist bump across the table. I'm not even sure I know everybody sitting there right now. That's what's weird is they don't have a front office.
Yeah.
They got one guy. There's one guy there. So before we start debating, like, who are they going? We have no idea who they are. They don't have any idea right now. There's a ton of work that needs to be done before they really know who they're going to zero in on. And I got to be really clear about something, because we had a huge viewership of the Organizations Win Championships podcast live edition yesterday. I know for whatever reason that this is starting because this is what happens. No, I don't necessarily want the Bulls to take Boozer. I'm probably going to call him Carlos, just like I'm going to call Caleb Williams. I'm going to try not to. Cameron Boozer is a really good basketball player. And if the Bulls get him, obviously, I will extend some grace to respect the decision-making of the new powers that be. However, in this case, with this team at this time, my goal is to get somebody who could be the best player on a champion. And when you have a top 4 pick in a draft like this, that should be the goal. Now, if they come to me, I got to make this really clear, because so far in the questions that we've heard asked of Bryson Graham, we haven't gotten to these specifics yet. I know it would be after the draft that we would ask this. It's after they commit, and if we hear about conviction and consensus and all of these things. If they believe truly that Cameron Boozer can be the best player on a champion, I would like to know why and how he can overcome his obvious athletic deficiencies to do that. But if they think that and can make a reasonable case as to that being true, fine. It's possible they agree with those of us who look at Cameron Boozer and see somebody with a really high floor who is definitely going to be good. Might even be somebody who makes an all-star team or two, but may athletically and explosively lack what it takes to be the best player on a champion. You know, Luka Doncic is not the greatest athlete in the world. Nikola Jokic certainly isn't. But when you start comping Boozer to Jokic in your ideas of what he could be, I start thinking that's a reach, because I think Jokic is a unicorn. Jokic is a very, very unique, special basketball player. I know you can't have variations or levels of uniqueness. There is either unique or there is not. So
that's an unfair comparison to the kid.
I don't think that's right. I've watched Boozer play a lot, and he is sometimes underneath the basket in college, having to pump fake. Caleb Wilson doesn't have to pump fake. He can if he wants, but he's going to jump over you and dunk it on your head because he's 6'10" and that explosive. And from anywhere on the floor, anywhere within that protected area, he can put his elbows above the rim at 6'10". That's just different. So I'm not going to rule anything out, but if I'm talking about my preferences, because I already noticed this, that people get very protective of their personal players. I thought both Boozer twins handled themselves poorly at the end of the game that ended their championship hopes. They're both kicking the ball all over the place.
Mm.
You had Cameron throw it off his foot, and then you had Caden throw it away. And I don't think their coach did that good a job as well. Actually, I didn't. I thought that's one that he probably doesn't want to have on his resume when it comes to handling endgame situations. But the bottom line is for the Bulls, if you get DeBonsa, Peterson, or Wilson, that's going to be an opportunity. You can make a case for any one of those three based on their ability, based on upside and ability. This is an upside pick if you're the Bulls, that any one of those guys I think could be the best player on a champion. And if the Bulls disagree with me, cool. That's fine. I'm not going to sit here and beat anybody up for saying you're wrong, I'm right. We don't know. We have some ideas, we have some opinions, and that's all good. And if Bryson Graham is in some room right now talking to everybody, say, hey, listen, if we get Boozer, we're taking Boozer at 4. And that's the guy. And here's why he's the guy. That's the part I just need to hear. I just want to know. It's possible I'm wrong and you're right, Bryson. But why? What do you know that I don't? By the way, kudos to Sam Smith. And this is despite my longstanding belief that people who work for the team and work for the team's website should not be asking questions in press conferences. And I will always, you can get the access whenever you want. You can send an internal email. You can walk into his office. You work for the team. If you work for the team, you should never be asking questions in a press conference. But Sam Smith did. And when Bryson Graham said, best player, we're going to take the best player. And Sam politely said, how do you know who the best player is? How are you going to find out? Because these are the questions we have. We don't know how they work. We don't know who they are. We don't even know who's advising him yet. He has not constructed his front office. He has to do that. And we were speculating yesterday that maybe there are people who are kind of in between about there could be a million job offers out there or interviews. He's trying to hire everybody. He doesn't have a coach yet. And people are like, ooh, 4th pick. You know what this does? This elevates the Bulls. The idea of them getting a little bit of luck, getting a little bit of juice, getting this kind of lift from the ping pong balls is much needed to say, all right, we're picking 4, we're picking 15. We got 2 second-round picks as well. They're sitting prettier. And if they're going to get aggressive and maybe move up with one or both, maybe try to see what's available in the trade market. They did say they were going to take it deliberately, slowly, and be process-oriented. So the opportunity for a quick fix here would shock me, because it would probably be in Graham's best interest to take the built-in cushion that you have from ownership, understanding if you have patience on your side, use it. There's no reason to cash that in right now if you're Graham. I know you get excited, you get that all of these assets, it can burn a hole in your pocket. And you start to get a little greedy and you start to think, what if? And you are always trying to do more. But this kid, and I'm going to call him a kid, a 39-year-old man who is running the Chicago Bulls. When you have the owner giving you the grace of a longer-term look, don't cash that in if you don't have to. And I don't think they will. And I think that argues more for an upside play and a developmental play, because Caleb Wilson does have to work on his game. He has to improve his shooting, and he's got to tighten up his handle. But he has so many things you can't coach. The comps to Sean Kemp Somebody said he's Chris Bosh and Sean Kemp rolled into one. I think we'd have to dial that back a little bit. And I love comps. I think comps are fun. I think they can be instructive when it comes to body type, when it comes to position, when it comes to developmental arc, when it comes to injury risk. I believe in that. I believe instead of just one, get as many comps as possible, because I do think that can help inform your research. But I'm not going to absolutely 100%. If they take Boozer, and I'm not going to say they're wrong, I'm right, they're wrong, I don't like him, bad pick. Just, I would like to know then, if he ends up being a Bull. I know all the arguments for what he is already and what he is at a minimum going to be. But if he can stand there and tell me, hey, Bernstein, you got to trust me on this one. He's better than you think. He's got more upside than you think. I am open to hearing why and how, from somebody who presumably knows more about basketball than we all do.
Well, he better know more basketball than we all do. And Cam Boozer, Dan, I don't even think he'd be the second best player on a championship team. I really don't. And I don't think he would even be a top 10 pick for me.
Ooh.
I don't.
I just don't.
I don't. I mean, again, I don't watch as much NBA as you do, but I've watched enough during the course of this season and then watching the playoffs. And there are just too many big bodies out there that I think would just eat him up. And I just don't think he has the game to be the best or even the second best player on a championship team. I think he can be a solid guy that can contribute to a team winning games, but you're not going to look at it. Here's what I look, and I'm not saying I'm making this comp, but the best way that I can describe it is he is what Horace Grant was to me for the Bulls.
Oh, he's a better player than that, though.
But you didn't win games because of Horace Grant, but he contributed to your victories. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
He's different than that, though.
I'm not saying he's Horace Grant. It's that comparison of where he fell in the hierarchy of that team. I just don't see him being the first or even second best player on a championship team.
Well, I do think his passing could be special. He's a really, really good passer.
And I'm not taking him to be a good fucking passer.
Yeah. That's usually if that's the best thing said, if that's the best thing about a 6'8" or 6'9" power player,
that's a problem.
It's nice, but I want to hear that he can catch it, attack the basket. And there are some aspects to him physically where I don't necessarily see them getting better. You don't make a guy more explosive. You can make a guy a better shooter. And you can make a guy a better passer.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think if you're picking 4, it's got to be a guy that changes your franchise, and he's not that guy.
I am glad the Spurs lost that game. Because Wemby has to wear that one. Victor Wembanyama, idiot of the week. They got him. We talk about the pressure cooker of the playoffs and how these series, man, you get so sick of seeing the same guy and the same guys and the same defenses every night. And man, Naz Reid is a bad man. Naz Reid is not going to quit. He is terrific. That guy, you talk about whatever cliches you want about just the combination of talent and hard work and taking a physical punishment, getting up off the deck multiple times, being counted on in some one-on-one situations late and tired. And Wemby's tired of Naz Reid. And that he should have known better. He's got to know better. I thought his defiant attitude in the wake of it might have been to cover for a little bit of guilt. But the way they're handling it too, Mitch Johnson's like, well, he's been getting beaten up and they're playing physically and he had to react because I don't like the way the officials aren't protecting him. Come on, man. You just can't elbow somebody in the head.
Above the neck, I mean.
Oh, sorry. Above the neck.
Yes.
What else is above the neck? That's I actually was thinking it was at some point. Wait a am I missing something above the neck other than head on a human body?
Yeah, maybe there's things that we're not seeing. I don't know.
Is it like the cylinder where there's an infinite amount of space above? So even if you were to like hit above the neck over the head, that counts?
Yeah, it counts
Does
because
the
it's above
head
the neck.
extend? Do we have like a virtual head extension? I didn't really understand, but it was way too officially. That game was just everything is reviewed and the officials are talking too much and there's long pauses, and I know they're letting him play, and I think that old Mitch Johnson should know that they're letting him play. And it's hard to officiate some players. I don't know that Wemby's necessarily one of them, like Shaq was, where there was more written and said about officiating Shaq because he was too big and he was what constitutes an offensive foul if he turns and moves and you go flying. Is that an offensive foul? Wemby really isn't one of those guys because he's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wemby's a quick guy.
And he weighs as much as one of Shaq's legs.
Exactly. But boy, during the lottery, and when they were showing some of the old shots, they showed rookie Shaq, they showed rookie Barkley, they showed rookie Kenny Smith. And then Kenny Smith is like, wait a second. Why is the footage of Barkley clearer than the footage of me if I'm younger than Barkley? And there was thin Shaq, thin, big smiling Shaq. I remember interviewing Shaq when he was a freshman at LSU. And I couldn't hear him. I was all the way down here holding my microphone up to his mouth, and I could not hear what he was saying.
Funny.
I couldn't hear it. It was outside Cameron Indoor Stadium. And he was a sensation at the time, and it was a huge thing. And I remember I had to do a hot take on Duke Sports Center. The TV was Seth Davis and Steve Goldberg and me. And it's like, well, what's your hot take? And my hot take was that Cameron Indoor Stadium, because they didn't have tearaway rims yet. That was before they had tearaway rims. My whole thing was Shaquille O'Neal might break one of these backboards because they haven't put the snapback rims on yet.
Yeah,
that was the Bernstein hot take of the week.
So you've always been good at hot takes.
It didn't happen, of course, but that was one of the things I wanted to ask Shaq about. I said, well, like when you see a rim that you could break, does it excite you? Because he did. Remember, he got to the NBA and he broke a bunch of stuff. Remember, like he ripped one off the stanchion. There was one that fell completely. There's another one that the entire hinge collapsed and the whole basket went down.
Yep.
Like all of it. So that was my worry. Anyway, so they showed Shaq before the draft. They got a big laugh out of that. And I just hope Wemby gets the criticism he deserves for being an idiot. Because it's possible you can get suspended for doing something like that. And that was my first thought, is if they thought there was intent and you elbowed somebody right in the face, you might miss a game.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to do that. But good call, the flagrant 2. And what they said was it met all the criteria for flagrant 2, and they laid it out. And that's exactly how you do it and how you convince people you made the right call. But come on, man. Like, it's one thing to know that you're a star. It's another thing where your absence changes absolutely everything that they do. Your absence makes it a different basketball team, a good basketball team. Because non-Wemby Spurs are really good. They're just not Wemby Spurs.
Right. And I don't think that series shouldn't be tied up, Dan.
Look,
not with the injuries that they've suffered. That should not be a 2-2 series.
And Anthony Edwards.
Oh, yeah, he's something. I mean, he's something, though. So I'll give you that.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. And if you don't have fun watching Ant-Man play, like his whole vibe, then what's the point? Like if you like sports, you got to like watching that dude, because he is enjoying himself. He's going absolutely as hard as he can, knowing what's at stake. Have you ever seen somebody hit a 3-pointer? You know, Jordan is famous for the shrug, right?
Mm-hmm.
Famous. It's like NBA canon that Jordan against the Blazers. He's going crazy.
Yeah.
And he looks at Magic and he's like, I don't know what's going on. And that became a thing. and hits a three, goes over and fondles the opposing coach on his way back down the floor.
He rubbed his belly.
He rubs his belly like he's the Buddha for good luck. He was like, hey, look at that. Look what I did. You like that. I've never seen that before. Like he's invading his personal space.
Yeah.
He's making him uncomfortable. That would be an HR violation. That's a workplace.
Yeah, that's probably wouldn't be appropriate. But
and he kind of smiled, but you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't run back down the floor and be like, that's like,
and to poke his belly like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yes. I made a three. Like, that's awesome. That's so much fun. And we'll talk about the other series too, whatever slog that is. Boy, and off the air, Jason and I got in a big argument yesterday. I started throwing stuff at him. He thinks the Cavaliers' floor and uniforms are good.
Oh, he's wrong.
He's wrong, right?
Yes, he's very wrong.
Yes,
actually.
he's completely wrong. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It's bad and gross. He's like, no, it's awesome.
No,
are you saying like so bad it's good? It's like, no, I think it looks good.
Yeah, that's got to be a generational thing or something.
Yes,
his age thing, because it is not good.
Right? Maybe it's just
a tough look, man.
Yeah, maybe to the Gen Z, it just looks like old school or rugged or something like that. But
yeah, it looks bad.
No, anyway, it was a fun game. I'm happy the Spurs lost because Wemby's got to wear that one. I'd like to hear a little more humility, a little more contrition, especially from the coach, because I think it's what you do this time of year. You support your star player, but internally, I would hope that Mitch Johnson and even Pop or whoever is involved can come down and be like, hey, Wemby, come on, man. They got you. They got you. They know that there are frustrations in these playoffs, and you cannot let it boil over like that. This is part of mental toughness. And doing that is a lapse of mental toughness. Is what that is. It's a lapse in focus. It's allowing them to get under your skin, and they got you.
Yeah, and certainly not how the coach responded to it either. Blaming the officials, not protecting him,
but I know why you're doing that publicly, because that politicking, that jawboning, that has been part of the playoffs forever.
Sure.
Forever. Pat Riley and Phil Jackson and George Karl and everybody else.
All the conversations in the media all directed at the officials, but
always.
Through the media. Yes, for sure.
Always. That's a playoff series thing. And the reason you can do it in a playoff series is because you're running the same plays and getting the same matchups. And you have these very specific moments where you know the angle of every double team. You know everything they're going to do, and you can tell a referee, hey, when he posts up and turns over his right shoulder, they're coming in and they're swatting at his left hand. Like, you can actually point some of these things out because every little aspect like that is coached, and everybody gets sick of everybody. And that's the idea. And that's what's fun about the playoffs. And that's why these are pressure cookers. But I'll say this, not if you're the Knicks.
No. And like I get what you're saying, and it's accurate what you're saying, but you can't talk about the physicality of a series when your main guy got a flagrant 2 and gets ejected and elbows a guy in the head. You can't talk about being over physical. You just can't.
Well, what you're admitting that you're struggling with the physicality, because that's what that is. That's what that is. That is a lapse in your mental toughness, because you got to tell Wemby, hey man, you've played in some other leagues, you got a lot of experience, and you're big and you're famous and you're awesome and you're going to be a Hall of Famer, but you can't let them get to you.
Yeah, got to get through it.
You can't. You've got to be above it. Literally,
you're a better player. So man, you're a better player.
You are above it.
Yes,
you're above it. Your elbows are above their heads. Don't come down and elbow them in the head, because if you keep your elbows up here, you're much better off. And he makes plays where he can catch the ball and have it in a place where nobody else can touch it.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons he's so great. So that would be my watchword, my line to stay above it, because they're good even without him. They've got Dylan Harper. Ooh, this is, I'm waiting. I don't know if it's been said yet, but I'm sure it will be well, you're a rookie when the season started, but now this deep in the playoffs, you're not a rookie anymore. We hear it in the tournament all the time. He might be a freshman, but maybe we don't, because all the good players are freshmen anyway, and then they all leave. But for a rookie to play with the confidence that Harper does, going up against grown men, and they've got a lot of guys who play real hard. But when Wemby comes out, and they realized the high-low action that they were getting, because you had Cornette, who was almost zoning a little bit on the back end there as just a rim protector, they knew that he was drifting, and they knew that first post entry after an individual move, whether it's Reed or whether it's Randall, that Gobert was going to be open baseline, and they were getting a lot of looks elbow to block. But what was interesting was it's not the typical elbow to block on the same side. That is when you're, say, against a 2-3 zone, the way you want that big to big pass to go is almost a quick elbow to block from that elbow to that block. Keep it right and down, or left or down. They were getting a lot of cross because of where Gobert was setting up, and from where Cornette, from where the help was coming. And Naz Reid's a better passer than you think, a much better passer than they thought. And if that was your challenge, that's like, look, we're going to make Naz Reid beat us with his passing. He did. And if they're going to do that. And Randall can do that too, because he's a pretty adept basketball player. So I think they're going to be careful with that. You may be better off staying home and just having a man between that first big and the basket, and don't let them get, dunks and ones with the big guy running the baseline there. Now, real quick, the best part of the Knicks and the Sixers series was the Knicks fans. It really was, and I don't know if you can say I like the Knicks fan individually, because the individual Knicks fan can be insufferable, but as a group, they're kind of awesome. I don't know if you saw the video of, I don't know, it was the local NBC affiliate in Philly had people trudging out of the arena, and all the this thing talked to some 10-year-old Philly kid, and he's like, fire everybody. It's like, sell the team, fire everybody. And he was a kid. So that's a hardcore fan right there. Or his dad's a gambler or something, right, and he knows that his college education just got thrown away on his basketball team. But then the Knicks fans completely swarm in and take over. And they weren't being vulgar. They weren't being violent. They were just being stupid. But when you could have that sort of, popping their jerseys and making faces, and they were the group that had sort of the social media thing that was going on outside of Madison Square Garden. But when you're doing that on the road, and they
especially in Philly,
it's I don't know. I think it's funny, and it's harmless, and that's sports and fandom. And I guess I'm grudgingly saying, and look, I'm not afraid to say that I love Madison Square Garden, and I love going to games there. And I generally, Knicks fans are some of the smarter fans. Like you don't have to do the whole Detroit basketball thing, or like in Orlando used to, where you had to tell them what traveling was. So I'm cool with a lot of the original hardcore fandoms.
Dude, they just swept. They swept.
They swept.
Do it, man. Live it up.
They not only did they sweep, that thing was over in like a minute and a half.
Right. So just live it up, man.
Three. Get out of here. This is over. They made him quit, and they had a blast doing it. So good for them.
Yeah, they earned it.
If you need new windows, and you probably do, I know the weather's been really strange, and we haven't gotten into because it's going to be like 95 in a blink, and then you're going to be like, well, what happened to spring? Where is everything? Why is the AC running and running and running? Because your windows suck. That's why. and you haven't gotten the good low emissivity double paned windows that are going to save you tremendously on your cooling and your heating when that time comes around as well. Just get the good windows already and call Russ Armstrong. You're bombarded with window ads everywhere you look. It's another window ad. And there's all kinds of deals and gimmicks and things and teasers. You don't need that. What you need are the best windows at the best price, and importantly, the best experience. And that's why I couldn't recommend Russ Armstrong or Chicago Window Guys any more highly than I do. In large part, it's because that you're dealing with the owner of the company. He has the factory. The factory is right here in Chicago. You're not dealing with a window company that's just a marketing company for another window company that's based out of somewhere else where you don't know any of the people. You don't know who's installing your windows. You don't know where your windows are being made. You don't need that. Just call 847-302-9171 or go to chicagowindowguys.com. You can read some of the 5-star reviews. You can talk to Russ. And as has been understood, when you've taken my advice and you actually go through this process and you say, oh, he was right. I hate to say it, but Bernstein was right. It really is so much nicer to actually deal with someone rather than a call bank or an answering service that slots you in and farms you out. Russ doesn't do that. So talk to him. 847-302-9171 or go to chicagowindowguys.com. There is a baseball story that caught my eye and also turned my stomach. And it has to do with the White Sox and everything that went down with Mike Clevinger. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. There's a writer named Bradford William Davis who has been an investigative journalist, and he has a site, a newsletter called iBlack, and he has gone back and looked at the MLB investigation into former White Sox pitcher Mike Clevinger. And this was several years ago, but this should not surprise you that after everything the White Sox went through, everything we went through about Clevinger's aberrant, disgusting, frightening behavior, that based on this new reporting, the MLB investigation was purposefully inadequate. That they stopped looking for evidence because apparently they wanted to stop looking for evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to go through here from what the Cup of Coffee newsletter had and then the piece here from iBlack. So the league launched its investigation in January of 2023 after Clevinger was accused of physical, verbal, and emotional abuse by Olivia Feinstead. And you've heard her on the airwaves here in Chicago multiple times. This is Clevinger's former partner, the mother of his then 10-month-old daughter. So if you remember, just to go through this, Feinstead claimed Clevinger threw an iPad at her when she was pregnant, strangled her, threw chewing tobacco on their kid, and flung constant verbal abuse at her as well. On March 5th, this is January 24th, and it was opened. March 5th, it concluded. And MLB announced it would not be imposing any discipline against Clevinger, citing lack of evidence. That's what happened. So it took 6 weeks, then it's closed, lack of evidence. Now, here is what iBlack found. Since 2023, MLB has defended its comprehensive investigation into Clevinger's conduct, with statements touting the more than 15 people the league interviewed for its probe. But iBlack spoke to 3 people who say MLB never interviewed them for its Clevinger investigation, even though they claim to have witnessed or experienced his abuse. 2 are former girlfriends who described physical, verbal, and emotional abuse, bringing the total number of exes who say the currently injured Pirates pitcher harmed them to 5. A 3rd person told iBlack he witnessed Clevinger's abuse and tried to make him stop, but never heard from MLB. The women who say MLB did interview them about Clevinger for its investigation told iBlack they informed the league about who these witnesses were, why they mattered, and how to reach them. And now they accuse MLB's investigators, a team that includes former prosecutors and law enforcement officers, of failing to gather easily attainable, vital testimonies about Clevinger's alleged history. And then the last graph from Cup of Coffee is it's not unreasonable to think that had MLB followed the leads that the witnesses it did speak to urged the league to follow before closing its probe, it likely would have collected the sort of proof that Moira Weinberg, who at the time was the league's deputy general counsel and executive within the investigations department, said she could not find when she recommended that Clevinger not be disciplined. So we continue to try to untangle why this guy's still in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Still. He's on the Pirates roster. And it was what we kind of understood the White Sox thing because there was that weird friendship was then the son of a White Sox owner in Benji Pagofsky, who is now inherited the limited partnership shares. And there was the whole Pagofsky connection to Clevinger going back to the COVID stuff, because apparently they were partying together outside of the restrictions during COVID, and they got in trouble for that. But we were always looking at these sort of sordid connections between Mike Clevinger and Ben Pagofsky. And that's still there and still kind of icky, clearly. White Sox never really explained any of that or dealt with it or wanted to pay any attention to it. But I don't know that this continues to explain how or if at any point an MLB investigation could be strong-armed from the ownership level or influenced from the ownership level. But it's just too bad. And what it says is those of us that understood that something didn't quite seem right about how thorough the investigation was, we're onto something. Who told you at the time, if you remember, told you at the time in these internal investigations, they can find what they want. They can stop when they want. They don't have a sworn commitment or responsibility or obligation to follow every lead to its last end, even when they say that's what they're doing. Let's let the record show now for sure MLB did not do that in this case. And at the very least, obviously, that is worth noting. And it sucks. It's too bad. And
yeah, it is too bad. And you could be like
you're still playing.
Right. I mean, you could be like Major League Baseball and half-ass an investigation, or you could be like the NFL and just not do one at all.
Mm-hmm. And just not care.
Yeah.
And say, well, we're it doesn't fall under our purview, and we don't care because it doesn't really matter, and you're gonna stop caring anyway at some point soon. And I'm sure enough people have stopped caring about Mike Clevinger. I would say that kind of thing. I care a lot more about the abuse allegations, violence against children, and everything that he did to multiple women. I care a lot more about that than I do potentially what could have been favor trading and an effect on whether or not Julio Jones got traded to the right team or not. I feel strongly about that, but to me, this is more of a gut right or wrong. The difference between, mala in se and mala prohibita, bad because it's genuinely bad or bad because it's prohibited. The kind of stuff that Clevinger was doing is like evil stuff. Just treating children horribly is different than sleeping with a reporter.
It's criminal stuff, Dan.
Yeah, and whether this is obviously that hasn't been pursued to this point either. I don't know to what end everybody else talked to everybody who knew or alleged. So, yeah, it was an ugly chapter. It has been an ugly chapter for the White Sox. It's an ugly chapter for the Pirates right now, keeping him around. There's just no good reason to do it. That bad people should be out of baseball. And same goes for Trevor Bauer and in his army of monsters that continues to support him. So, and apparently Trevor Bauer is desperate enough to be saying, like, oh, somebody signed me. Nobody wants Trevor Bauer. Nobody should want Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is awful at baseball. And I will say this, anybody that you run into anywhere that says anything that could even possibly be marginally supportive of Trevor Bauer, either going to a team that you like or a second chance or due process, get that person out of your life immediately. Whoever that person is that has even the faintest support for Trevor Bauer on any level, disassociate yourself with that person. Back away from that person. Block that person on any social media. That is an automatic indicator of toxicity. Automatic. More so than wraparound sunglasses and your don't tread on me flag and your goatee. So this is I also was going to talk about this too. I'm getting, as the weather warms up, I have to, at some point I'm going to start wearing more of the fishing shirts. And I bought those single color ones like you have.
Yeah.
I've got a weird blue one. Like I've got the lime green one, my Kermit the Frog one, and I have.
What color blue is it? Like a cerulean blue, or is it a?
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
we're gonna get to the cerulean blue. Don't worry, but no, it's not a cerulean blue actually. And I got to think about it. I'm not up to speed. And then the other one's like a tangerine kind of orange, bright orange thing. I also have my camo one from Discount Tackle. There was like a throw in when I bought a bunch of stuff and like, hey, you can, and it comes up like, do you want a fishing shirt here that's on sale? It's got like Z-Man baits on it and it says Discount Tackle on the back, and it's blue, but it's got that weird like digitized camo pattern on it.
Yeah.
So at some point I'm going to wear it. I'm just warning you.
Well, I think you should. You don't have to warn me.
Because everybody in my family, they say, oh, that's so cute. You're wearing your Republican shirt.
Yeah, I think fishing shirts should be really ugly.
Really ugly? Okay, this one's really ugly.
Yeah, but go for it.
So even Beth said something. It's like, it'd be really nice. It would go really well with that shirt. And that's what she said. A goatee and wraparound sunglasses.
I think you should.
You think I should grow it out, get like the big sunglasses and put that on there. And get like I need an angrier hat. I don't have enough hats that are angry. I don't need like the full red MAGA hat because that's
how would you describe an angry hat?
I don't know. I don't know, but like what? Like it would have like the Punisher logo on it, or
that's a good one. Yeah,
I saw a logo yesterday. I was fishing the river yesterday, and I walked by McFetridge. Okay. Which I love. It's always heartwarming to hear the sounds of hockey. And I walk by the back door where the Zamboni dumps the snow from cutting the ice. So there's always a little snow pile there. Sometimes in the middle of the summer, the kids will be making snowballs there. And there was a truck there, and it had this big PBR logo. I'm like, who puts a giant PBR sticker on the back window of their pickup truck? And I realized it didn't say Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh no.
It was a PBR logo that said proud blue collar and then in the circle underneath American. So I'm kind of looking over the, I'm like, okay. So my guess was probably like one of the Kankakee teams was playing at McFetridge. Because it's still at an Illinois plate. I was doing all my detective work.
Yeah.
Because there are, there's some far-flung teams that are playing McFetridge spring hockey. So it could be Kankakee, could be Crystal Lake, it could be the Antioch program up there. Just based on my experience, the Lakers, right? That's Antioch, and like McHenry County.
Is that their hockey? The hockey teams, they're called the Lakers?
Yes, because of the chain of lakes.
Sure. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Yeah, so I think I've never seen that. I've never seen like somebody bought that like, yeah, I like PBR and I'm a proud blue collar American. I'm going to put this on my truck.
Boy.
Drive it around. Sweet. Well done. There was golf over the weekend. I watched that too. And I then didn't because I wasn't interested. I started out watching the golf and then I thought, I think I'm going to, my golf battery, I'm going to let it run down a little bit and just fill it up with the PGA. Because now we got the big tournament this weekend, and this is the last warm up. And I thought the leaderboard was okay. It's all right. I generally like, Quail Hollow can be a fun course to watch, and Ricky Fowler made a nice little run. But so yesterday afternoon, I took your advice, Maddie, and we saw Devil Wears Prada 2.
Nice.
Here, this is my review. I don't intend to have spoilers here. There might be something. It was fine. I thought it did some things well. I thought it did other things not as well. I will admit that I liked Devil Wears Prada, but I'm not a super fan. It was a good movie. I liked the movie. I'll watch it when it comes on. I will say it is not easy to recapture that kind of magic of a time and place. It was 20 years ago. So I think considering the 20-year time span, they did it about as well as can be done because it was going to be an uphill battle no matter what. The box checking for fan servicing, I thought was handled nicely. The movie is gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. Everything. The lighting and the hair and the makeup and the clothing and the people and the architecture and Milan and everything. It's a beautiful movie. It's overwritten because it kind of has to be. There's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of explanation. There's a lot of contrivance. The word being contrived to get people into certain situations so the characters can be who you want them to be and act in the way you want them to act to deliver all your things. But it's in the hands of professionals. There are so many really talented people involved that it's a high quality product. It's an okay movie as a work of art. It's an okay movie. The music is good. They do an amazing job. My favorite characters in the movie are the young billionaire douchebags. They do a wonderful job of capturing everything that's odious about what we hate and fear about oblivious, stupid tech billionaires. Mm-hmm. I thought that part was great. But I must say, and I don't know if you thought this as well, that one of my pet peeves in a movie, I'm going to take you back to the movie Castaway, where I always refer to Zemeckis as a hack for this. At the end of Castaway, when Tom Hanks's character is deciding, does he want to work hard to get his wife back and build his old life, or does he want to return this one package that he saved that is imbued with all of this symbolic value and it's advertising for FedEx? Does he turn the other way and go? And he's literally standing at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm. I actually in the theater yelled, "Run, Forrest, run!"
Run, Forrest! Run. And I said something like, "Oh my God, no." It happens in this movie. There is a scene where Miranda Priestley. Miranda Priestley. In Milan. It's a beautiful crossroads. I will say that. Where the same thing, crane shot, it kind of pulls back, and there I forgot, it's like Gucci, not Gucci, it's like Prada,
yes,
and one of the other Italian houses, and it's a literal fashion crossroads at which she is standing.
Mhm.
And I'm hitting Beth in the arm, like, damn it. And she just hits me and she goes, stop it, I know. Because I'm like, she's standing at a crossroads. Don't you see? So yeah, she's like, yes, I know. Leave me alone. Let me watch the movie. Shut up, idiot. But other than that, I would say I wasn't unhappy I spent the money on it. There's also
it was good, and like I said, it was simple. It got the job done. It actually got a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes than the original, which was interesting, both from critics and fans. So that's interesting to note. Very close though, but it got the job done. It felt warm and comfortable. The crossroads thing. Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, whatever. It doesn't bother me much as it bothered you. Clearly, the thing that got me to make an audible sound though.
Yeah.
Was the Iraq Boeing.
Oh, right and party. Left.
The dinner party was
in the Hamptons. One. Yeah, they get
the
to
absolute worst one.
You know what I thought of when they got to the dinner party? Get Out.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I thought immediately that they were going to go auction off the black guy to put a different brain in his body.
But when he was like, "Oh, I'm Carl," and she's like, "Oh, Anthony Towns."
No, I'm the other 7-foot Carl in the Hamptons.
Right. So I was like, I went, oh no.
You're Carl Anthony Towns.
Yes. I know who you are. Oh, well, anyway.
You're U.S. men's national team soccer goalie, Tim Howard. Why, yes, I am Tim Howard. No, there was some seriously vicious Iraq poings going on right and left. Although did they do it to Rory?
They did not do it to
Rory. Did not. Because Rory and his wife are there, but they didn't.
He didn't need to be identified.
Right.
Carl just the black basketball player needs to be identified.
I didn't need to be told it was Carl Anthony Towns.
Correct.
And he said, I'm Carl. And then it's like, oh, Anthony Towns? No, I'm
Carl Johnson.
Exactly.
What did you think of her boyfriend? The love interest they gave her in the movie.
Kind of a wet noodle.
Yes. Okay.
Especially for an Australian.
A letdown. A little bit of a letdown in that relationship. Okay. I'm glad that we're on the same page.
Yeah, but that also is a type. That's who she ends up with, people like this. She ends up, she's kind of a big personality, and I thought she was a little sort of manic.
Yeah.
But Andy Sachs attracts wimps. She really does. She just does.
That's kind of true.
You know,
I guess that's true because you got the whiny bitch from the first one.
Yeah, she has a type, and I thought he seemed. I thought Kenneth Branagh was wonderful. He seemed much. I don't know what she did to deserve him. I didn't think that Miranda Priestley would end up with somebody who seemed like, I don't know. But maybe
who knows? Yeah, what happened, what transpired in her life after that divorce from her husband from the first movie. But no, again, overall, it was good, and it was comfortable, and it was simple, and it felt good, and it was good music, and you get Lady Gaga in there, and lots of other celebrities that come through.
Yeah, and it's all. And if you want the fashion porn of all of the outfits and the montage of the changing of the outfits and everything,
Tucci's suits, it was. I mean, all of his suits are just great. What did you think of the moment between Miranda and Stanley Tucci when she goes up to him and gives him
the kiss
opportunity?
On the cheek.
Yeah, the opportunity to address the crowd and kind of lead the night. I thought that was a really sweet moment.
I did too, but then when we find out but I thought the ending changes a little bit of that when we know what he knew. Right?
No, I didn't feel that way at all. I thought it was a touching kind of warm moment. So it felt good.
It is. And I think the theme of this is further humanization of Miranda.
Yeah, for sure.
That's we're still, as she's aging, she's becoming more human, and her little monologue about the book possibility, I think, lent to that. But
for sure.
I guess
overall good, and I'm glad you went and saw it. I knew you'd enjoy it. So
yeah, I did. It's not some towering cinematic achievement.
No, it was never going to be. Yes.
It's a high quality product that delivers enough of the goods to make it worth your while.
So you know what's happening? What is it? What is the date today? Today is the 11th. You know what's happening Wednesday?
What is happening Wednesday?
What something special that AMC theaters are doing?
I don't.
For the 40th anniversary, they're bringing back Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick to the theater.
Okay. I don't know where this was. Did you see the special popcorn container?
For Devil Wears Prada?
No.
Or the helmet.
The helmet for Top Gun.
Yes, I did see it.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
Yes, it's a goose helmet.
You have to have one.
Yes. Oh, let me pull this up. I got to get this on the wall. Hang on.
Uh-oh. Oh, God. What
So
now?
yesterday we went to Lake County Fairgrounds. They had like an antique show and like, I don't know, flea market maybe is a better description.
Yeah.
So Natalie and I, we went and walked around, and there was a guy there, an artist. Let me get his name right here. TonySantiagoArt.com. So it's Tony Santiago.
Santiago.
And does drawings and paintings. And so look what I got for $20.
Sweet.
Is that going
to go? So are you going to frame it?
Yes, I'm going to frame it, and it's going to go behind me here next to my Sandberg jersey.
When's that coming?
I got to get it. I know I'm being lazy about it.
Yeah, you are.
But so, yeah, it's
months
Tom
ago.
Cruise and Iceman and Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the F-14s. Yeah, very cool. He had a lot of great stuff. So I saw that, and Natalie's like, I got to get that for you. I'm like, let's do it.
I think your home studio has just become the danger zone.
It is. But yeah, so Wednesday, they're bringing both movies back out to see them at the theater. So, and IMAX, I'm 100% going.
As you should.
Yes.
And you should eat McRibs beforehand if you can find them.
If McRibs were out, I would totally do that.
And just have the mattiest day you can possibly matty.
Ever.
And that is DBU. Brought to you by Chicago Window Guys, 847-302-9171, ChicagoWindowGuys.com.
Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on 312 Sports.